Hey, you dorks, this is Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you are listening to The Dorkening.
Hi, I'm Brian Johnson, and although you probably accidentally stumbled across it and have no idea why you're watching it, you are in fact watching The Dorkening.
Hello, this is Tom Kenny, voice actor, the voice of the Ice King on Adventure Time, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Ah, meow. Oh, Gary the Snail, too. Hey, guess what you're filling your eye holes and ear holes with? The Dorkening! Oh, I love the Dorkening. Very popular in Ooh, and Bikini Bottom.
Hi, I'm Loeb. You're watching The Dorkening. And you know what? You don't like me when I get angry, so they're going to be angry. You better keep watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, this is Felissa Rose, and you're watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, it's Courtney Palm. We're shooting Death House, and you're watching The Dorkening.
This is Anthony Michael Hall, and you're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned, my friends are going to show you what entertainment's all about, baby.
The Dorkening.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. You're watching Splash Pages, powered by the Dorkening Podcast Network. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. And we're going to be getting spooky about comics tonight. And we got, it's the spooky season. It's Halloween. It's, pumpkin season as well. But I want to introduce you to my comic compadres. Velvet Joker, how's it going, my friend?
It's going great. And I'm excited to do some haunted Halloween type Gotham stuff tonight. And I have to say, a happy birthday tomorrow to my Harley, Sky Harlow, a.k.a. Heather. Mwah! Love you, baby!
Aw, happy birthday, Harley.
Thank you, guys.
Drew, my friend, how's it going?
I just want to point out for everybody who's wondering, this was completely my idea. We were going to do something else that can wait. No offense, but it's true. And also, happy birthday, Harley.
And I have to say, Drew, I gotta get video of you like during the promo and everything that's running, because I can see you singing to it. I can see you doing like all the
Okay, I need to rephrase that. I have listened to it so much, all on ever since joining this, that I feel like if you gave me some wigs, I could probably do a really good. I mean, not exactly 100% accurate in some regards, but. And I just kept thinking that. I was like, oh my God, are they listening to me? I was like, can you hear me? And I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's just so fun. I'm listening to it and I know all of it. And the one that I got to be honest, I've met the man. I still cringe at the Lou Ferrigno one because it's just so ham. Like, give me 2 pieces of bread and some seasoning. I make a sandwich out of it because I was like, oh my God, how much did you have to pay for this bullshit? Like,
actually, no, it was yeah, that was, I didn't have to pay for that interview. It was
no, but just
technical difficulty.
All right, but it's just I've just watched it so many times. Like, I feel like I just forgot how it started, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Gunnar Hansen. I was like, Hello there, you dorks. I'm Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and y'all are watching The Dorkening. You know, it's just, one of these days, just don't tell me you're recording, because then I'll try to. Just don't tell me. And then,
Well,
of course,
the way the system works, I can't record you anyway. I just see like, you doing a dance to the music and stuff like that. I see that, but I don't hear anything.
I gotta forget that you can see me. Like I always forget that. So I'm like, at one point, I'm like, he's gonna turn the camera on, and I'm gonna have a finger up my nose. I know it. And then
well,
I'm just gonna be.
I didn't know that, and there's times that I'm probably picking my nose or scratching.
Whatever. So everybody, hi, welcome to The Dorkening, where we're
Hey.
3 bored nerds who somehow decided that we might as well get some sort of notoriety for it, award-winning, by the way. And we're going to be discussing Batman Haunted Night, which was one of the earliest collaborations of Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale. Who are those guys? You might remember them when we reviewed Batman, The Long Halloween. Those are the guys responsible for that. But before that, this is actually the precursor, which were 3 Halloween specials. 48-page, beautiful for the season specials. If you love Tim Sale's work, this is basically everything you'd want for the holiday. So we're going to be reviewing the collection of it, which are 3 separate stories. We're going to go around the table. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. Next time, I'm so bringing a jack-o'-lantern.
Nice.
But of course, as Leo would put it, he's got to do his Sophia thing because we got to keep our tradition if we're going to get more awards.
Totally.
And then we'll talk some nerd thingies, and then we'll jump into that. So also, if you're watching, let us know. Make comments. Make fun of us. We don't care. I mean, we do care, and we will heckle you if you try to piss us off. I won't, but he will.
Yeah. Or block you. I had to block a lot of people yesterday.
Did you really? What happened?
Yeah. We had Sir Jeremy London on the show. And there were some people saying not so nice things about him. So
what did you say anything? Did you do anything?
I instantly
What did you do, Ray?
I instantly, first thing that came to my head, I blocked and deleted them. So
okay, but did you just having him on the show brought the rage? Like,
yeah. There was, I mean, sometimes we get trolls every now and then, but this year it was like a constant stream, and I think it was mostly like one person with multiple accounts because they'd start one stream of consciousness, then like do another one, and it was like they were continuing the same discussion. Like they'd start it, I'd block them, and then they'd say and also, and then some other crap, and I'd block them. Totally different account. So yeah,
fascinating.
Yeah, but it was a good movie. It was Demigod, a little indie flick from Miles Doliak.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was pretty good. He's doing some indie movies now.
So Jeremy is not particularly like he doesn't have anything crazy going on in his world.
No. He was I didn't know this. He was abducted shortly after Mallrats.
No way. What happened?
Apparently he was abducted and forced to take drugs. He was like kidnapped.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Google it. It's definitely an interesting story. But great guy, and it was we were glad to have him.
Please tell me you talked about Mallrats. Because
saved it for the very end. He talked about the long shooting hours, like sun up to sun up. He didn't go into specifics, but he said it was definitely, there was definitely some camaraderie between a bunch of the actors. There were some that kind of stayed in their trailer.
Right.
But yeah, he had good memories from it. And Twilight of the Mallrats, he has no updates on.
Okay. Did he please? I'm sorry. I wish I had known. I would have totally been on because that Dazed and Confused, Out Cold, which is a guilty pleasure dumb movie, but I love it. Even he was in Grind, all these movies, and I just sit. I was like, You know, like when they do those actors going through the career, it's like, let's talk. Yeah. You just stretch the timeline.
Well, I
that's
mean,
awesome.
yeah, it's sorry, I should have asked you.
No, it's okay. Listen, it's fine. He's not going anywhere. He's not. Hopefully, he's not getting abducted again.
No.
Okay.
I'll keep you in the loop though on future guests if you want to join us.
Oh yeah, don't you remember how much fun we had with JJ Cohen? Jesus.
Oh yeah.
3 hours. I like how y'all were like, oh yeah, 45 minutes. I was just like, 3 hours later.
Yeah, that was
bullshitting with him.
It was fun though. It was fun.
Oh yeah, that was please. I told people that story like that is the coolest. I was like, I do dope shit. Like, I'm sorry, I'm on that Kanye level, early Kanye, not later. You know?
We're talking to Dee Wallace next week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So if either of you want in, just let me know.
Yeah, who's that?
The mom from ET. From Cujo.
Yep.
From Cujo. Nice. That's awesome. I was like, I know that name, and then you said mom. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, she told a funny story with the dogs with Cujo, where it was like 13 of them. There was like a dog for each, type of acting it needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're dogs and they're happy, they had to tape the tails down because they kept on wagging in scenes. So you can't have this mean dog just wagging his tail,
Yeah, that defeats the purpose because it's like, oh right, oh shiny ball. I'm just imagining, like you said, 13 different dogs. I'm like, no, we need the angry dog. Okay, we need the sad dog. We need the rotting dog. We need the less rot. Like we have to do. I was like, God, what a time, But nice, that's awesome.
Yeah, totally. So, Inner Sophia, channeling my inner Sophia. Picture It, Sicily, 2003. Right, this came out in 2003. Personally, I was working retail. You can find me being a mall rat at the Crystal Mall in Waterford, Connecticut, working at Software, etc.
I understood that reference.
You did?
Oh no, keep going. It's fine.
Okay.
See the sailboat, Leo.
Also in 2003, the Governator is activated. Arnold is elected governor of California.
Oh my God.
Florida defeated New York in the World Series. And Johnny Depp earned a surprise Oscar nomination for his Keith Richards-inspired swashbuckling pirate, Captain Jack Sparrow, in Pirates of the Caribbean. Gas cost a whopping $1.59. Movie tickets cost $6.03. And speaking of movies, the top grossing movies of that year were Finding Nemo, Pirates of the Caribbean, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, The Matrix Reloaded, and Bruce Almighty, all averaging about $300 million a movie. Comic book. What was that?
It was a wonderful time. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. Comic book movies that year: X2, X-Men United, Hulk, Daredevil, A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Batman, Mystery of the Batwoman, Bulletproof Monk, and Comic Book the Movie. I never saw Comic Book the Movie.
Apparently, it's fine.
Yeah, it's a mockumentary with Mark Hamill, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I should watch that. The top-selling comics in 2003, it was the year of Hush. Batman 619, the first appearance of Hush, was the top-selling comic. JLA and Avengers crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate Fantastic Four #1 and Batman 614 Hush with Jeph Loeb and Jim Lee. Television history. No, actually, no. If you're a kid in 2003, Saturday morning cartoons were still a thing. You're able to watch Hey Arnold, Kirby Right Back at You, Jackie Chan Adventures, Pokemon Advanced, Yu-Gi-Oh! Enter the Shadow, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, along with Teen Titans. And that's all I have for 2003.
It was a great time. I was in high school in 2003.
Just 18 years ago.
Thank you, Rich. I didn't want to say that, but thank you.
18 short years ago.
That's better.
I was a decade out of school.
Just remember, Leo, the snakes don't care how old you are; they'll still come.
Oh, they will. They will.
They will. But
okay. So, would you like to do the synopsis, and I will bring up the comic?
In a moment, I just wanted to know if there was anything current in the nerd world that we need to discuss or give some sort of honorable mention about. Personally, despite being part of Screen Rant, sometimes I'm very not a part of it. I was like, is there anything? I was like, I have nothing. I don't know. Is there anything nerd worthy to mention?
We're getting the finale of What If tomorrow.
I still yet to watch a single episode.
And I was mentioning to Leo, I was just finishing Terrifying Tales on Disney Plus, which is like a Lego Star Wars haunted type storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. Absolutely. They got a little monkey paw in there.
Did you guys see that they were doing a haunted mansion but with the Muppets?
Yes.
Really?
That
yes.
was fun.
I will gladly see that over at the Eddie Murphy version any day of the week. So,
now, are these going to be original Muppets or the Muppet?
It's the Muppets, but I think we might see some Muppets that we haven't seen in a while. You know,
almost we see Animal.
Yeah, it's always so funny because I always remember that the Muppet Show used to have Halloween ish episodes, and I think one of them was Vincent Price.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think Vincent Price demonstrating how he's just able to pull vampire fangs out of nowhere, and then Kermit does it and then bites him was the funniest thing. Even as a kid, I was like, I can't. That and when Alice Cooper was on, I was like, you haven't lived till you've seen Alice Cooper perform School is Out for Summer, and he's got the big giant monster and all the other weird, demonically odd, evil-looking Muppets just rocking out. I was like, what a show.
Yeah, indeed. And I'll always remember Mark Hamill and Miss Piggy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Just classic stuff.
I just rewatched that recently.
You know, and it's also funny, and I always love pointing it out to people that the same thing with Muppets Tonight when they brought it back in the 90s. Don't sleep on that because that's a good one too. They had a lot of great guest stars. But because that I think was Disney before Muppets were really Disney, it didn't get, it's one of those like, oh, it's not the Muppet Show. I'm like, it's essentially the Muppet Show. Like guest stars, great performances. Like they had Garth Brooks, they had Pierce Brosnan doing, at one point he was doing like fire breathing. I was like, what? But they even had Prince at one point. I was like, oh God, you haven't lived till you've seen Bobo the Bear as a security guard. He is just the funniest. Like hands down. Him arguing with Prince over the meaning of his name is just the best. But
I didn't know they had a Muppets in the 90s.
Yeah, because it was the Muppet Show, and then that ended, and then they had Muppets Tonight in the 90s, and then that was going on. I think that went on for like a season or two, and then in 2015, like in like the early like 20, I don't know, like whatever, they then brought the Muppets, but they did that in the style of 30 Rock.
Chris wants to know, did anybody hear Machine Head cover of Heroes by Bowie?
No way. That's awesome. I did not, and I will check that out. I love that song.
We also got the teaser, or actually the first trailer for the new Game of Thrones.
There's oh my God, no.
I didn't watch it. I don't care.
Game of Thrones is something I watched some of. I appreciated it. Then I forgot. And then I didn't care. And then the fan base lost their damn mind, like most fan bases do. And then I just really
but
didn't.
for good reason.
Well, yes, rightfully so. Because some of what I heard they did last season, I was like, and they'd be like, "How could these actors do it?" I was like, "They are getting paid."
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, and looking back at some of the
choices,
reads, the script reads, you could see like the disgust in some of their faces, like what was happening to their characters. Because you go from really developed characters to like really dumbed down character or versions of their characters, and
well, I think essentially the problem happening was that you were kind of going off of an outline versus an actual book, and that's hard because it can go either way. Like for instance, when they were filming Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Brian O'Malley, if my memory serves correct, he wasn't completely done with the last book in the series, so they had to kind of figure out the ending for that on like his outlines. So that's why the ending of the book is different than the ending in the movie. It's not just typical adaptation to film, because as you notice, the movie follows the book pretty well. But again, that worked out well.
Yeah.
But Game of Thrones being such an epic, detailed book, the first couple of seasons were covered by the book, so they were following that outline. So it's easy to follow and deviate slightly.
Yeah, and well, there was even complete storylines that they passed up on. With the book, the Stark's mother there, she's found in the river in the books, and then she's like brought back to life and becomes a powerful character. That there they completely ignored. But to take like King's Landing, which is the city on the coast, to turn it into like magically like in a desert or something like that. It's like the last season, it's not even near water anymore. It's like, what the hell? That's just laziness. And the Unsullied got completely obliterated the episode before the last, but they magically come back at the end of the show.
Leo, we're gonna have to talk about this another time. We only got so much.
I know, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So Doomsday Clock sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's your opinion. Like, to quote The Big Lebowski, that's your opinion, man.
Oh, that sucks.
I don't know. I don't know if suck. I feel the word I would use was unnecessary. Right? Is that a better way of saying suck? Like, it was fine. I mean, it's always good seeing Gary Frank do his amazing artwork, but as a story, I was like, we didn't need this. It's interesting, but did we need the comedian meeting the Joker? Did we need Superman? Oh, okay. It did take too long. I will say that. All those delays really killed a lot of that momentum. That I will agree with.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Rich?
Sorry, Rich.
No, I was thinking of sucks. I didn't realize that Drew was going to parlay off that. I apologize.
That's all good.
Did either of you guys get a chance to see the Saints of Newark? Which
no, how did you?
And I was super disappointed.
Oh, really?
Right there with you.
Some of the actors' character nuances was awesome. I mean, to me, it just felt like a nostalgia rip. The story wasn't that great. It really didn't end. Unless there's a plan to do a series of movies, it ended like the series ended, just blankly saying nothing.
Did the son do well in his adaptation of his father as Tony?
He did, absolutely, and he got amazing facial nuances that his father had. I don't know if he studied it or that's just natural. But you didn't see him until an hour into the movie, and it's a 2-hour movie.
Oh, they did the Jaws thing. You don't see the shark till then, and then big deal.
Well, there was a younger version of him.
An even younger version of him, which was a different actor.
Okay.
Yeah, it's they heavily tried to tie it into, well, obviously it's a prequel to the Sopranos show.
Mhm.
But yeah, it just felt like there was no direction. It was just a movie just to, it didn't really connect the dots. You don't really see how Tony becomes Tony, it's
The
yeah,
story
I
for
mean,
the sake of it versus a story with a point.
exactly. And it was great how, some of the actors really portrayed their younger selves.
Mhm.
Uh, but it's yeah, they could have done better.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Gotta
is
say,
anybody?
the young
I'm
Tony
sorry.
was pretty good, and the guy who played young little Stevie, he was
Yes.
also quite brilliant.
Okay. Now, before we get into reviewing the comic, just the last question: are any of you planning to see Carnage?
Oh, totally. When it comes out on VOD.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to see it as well. I'm just not in a super rush.
Yeah, I'm basically feeling the same way. Like, I didn't rush seeing Venom, and I was decently surprised. I mean, again, is it a perfect movie? No. But was it entertaining? Sure. This new one, again, I just think it's funny. My only thing is, you grew up in the 90s when you grew up in the 90s when you see characters that you were first introduced in like an animated series, and you hear that voice talk instead of the character. Like, I'm sorry, the guy who played Cletus Cassidy in the animated series, I still hear that whenever I would read Carnage. Just that maniacal, like, just the way he'd say "man" was so creepy. Like, I just remember, like, yeah, man. I was just like, holy fuck, you're psychotic. Like, I just remember that, and I was just, Woody Harrelson. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Woody played some crazy characters.
I mean, listen, if we're gonna go that route, I mean, Natural Born Killer is kind of
that movie.
But
that might require a rewatch soon.
There you go. But like I said, there's more than enough nerd content out there. So, we just got to get our fix, guys, because it's everywhere. So, without further ado, Haunted Night. I guess, Leo, am I doing the synopsis?
You are, good sir.
Okay, let me just pull it up. I had it here, but of course, my computer is deciding now that it's showtime. It's time to not work. So give me one second.
Shall we entertain the people with a little dance or something while you bring it up?
If you want to do that, or you want to mock me by playing Jeopardy, that's fine. If you do, I might hurt you. Please don't.
Rich, can you do the song?
What do you want me to do?
The Jeopardy song.
I can hear it, and I hate both of you. May the spirit of Alex Trebek make you feel dumb when your dreams.
All right, is that enough time?
Yeah,
yeah.
Did you guys watch Free Guy? Alex Trebek was in that.
It was his last filmed role, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Did anyone see Free Guy? I really wanted to. I heard it's really good.
I watched about 40 minutes of it. It's kind of stupid, somewhat entertaining. I mean, I'm gonna get back to it, but yeah.
Again, you're not in a rush?
I'm not in a rush.
Fair enough.
Everything's chill, man. Keeping it all irie.
I'm done with you. All right, here. I'll just use this synopsis here. All right.
Yeah.
This graphic novel by Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale, the creative team behind the classic Batman Long Halloween includes 3 dark tales of horror and intrigue featuring Batman facing off against his most demented and wicked foes, taking place on the most evil of holidays, Halloween. The Darknight Detective confronts his deepest fears as he tries to stop the madness and horror created by Scarecrow, the Mad Hatter, the Penguin, Poison Ivy, and the Joker. There we go.
Perfect.
Sorry.
He just couldn't help himself.
Felt the dramatic pause there.
So I think the best thing for us to do would be to go by the stories one by one. Kind of give a quick review, maybe pick out a scene or two we really liked, explain why. Because again, there's a lot to unpack in each one of them, and I definitely want to get to all 3. So I don't know. It's pretty easy to move through them all. What do you guys think? Sound good?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So who wants to start?
How about you, Rich?
What's that?
Would you like to kick us off, Rich?
Wait. Please pause here, because this is one of my favorite moments in this whole book.
Yeah, the little all the different costumes, trying to pick them all out.
The one thing that I will say about Tim Sale, which I have always admired throughout my time being a fan of his work, is that he really does take the time for these wonderful little details. Like, you ever look at like a full page or something, like he really doesn't, it's not just, background. He really takes the time to fill out these little details, which really add such context to the character. I mean, this was awesome. But the thing that always catches my eye, which I will always notice, is that in the corner closest to the door, that's Hobbs from Calvin and Hobbes.
Yes.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's also Milk and Cheese, right? That's from Evan Dorkin's book.
I don't know that one.
It's a independent press thing. I just know because I know that creator. And then, but look at all the detail. I mean, some people would live, but fantastic.
That Long Halloween. I remember us talking about that as well then.
Mm-hmm. What's also funny is I didn't realize this, but there are scenes in this particular comic that actually inspired a Batman movie.
Batman Begins.
Yes, Fear, which is the one we're reading right now. So if you go back a little, Leo, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Yes. So this scene in particular, where Bruce, aka Batman, is interrogating a suspect in the rain upside down, that inspired the scene where he's doing that to Flass in Batman Begins, upside down in the rain, asking questions. And then later on, Doctor Strange's line of Doctor Strange, excuse me, Scarecrow's line of Dr. Crane is in right now, would you like to make an appointment, is also from this comic. So, but I will also say just that I feel that Tim Sale does one of my favorite versions of the Scarecrow, because I think, I'm sorry, if I met someone dressed like this, Leo, you do that thing where you're moving so goddamn fast, man. Calm down. Like, Scarecrow, like this one, he's terrifying. Like, he looks the part. Like, I'm sorry, if I saw that guy just randomly show up, like, that would scare the crap out of me. Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the here we go. Yeah, that's it's definitely really demented.
Yeah, it's the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, and it's also sorry, Rich, go.
No, and it's not a look that you're really familiar with him with, but you still clearly identify him.
Mm-hmm. And I think I also enjoy the lankiness because I feel like it adds that contortion, almost inhuman look. Like again, Batman, as we see here, is designed to inspire fear in criminals, but you have Scarecrow who preys on the fear, not just of criminals, but could be of anybody. So in some ways, it's almost like Batman has to literally fight against the thing that makes him something that he values about himself. So,
I love the scene here where Batman, the just each punch, you got people losing teeth left and right. Just the guy being tossed out the window here, just like very it's definitely inhuman the way he's flying out there.
Well, I think also what's good is that sometimes I feel like certain comics they waste so much panels with action shots. This is clear, concise, coordinated, the kind of thing that you really think about Batman. And it's also interesting because we really have no idea where this story or like all three of them fit within the timeline that Tim Sale and Jeph Loeb created for Batman. So is this during the Long Halloween? Is this after, before? Is this is this after Dark Victory? It's really hard to say. I want to think it's an early Batman because we don't see any Robin. It's just him and Alfred and he's working with Gordon.
Well, also the way Gordon talks to him, like he tries to tell him about his wife, and then Batman, like I think he just leaves or something like that, and he's like, "This is the last time I'm gonna try talking to him about that." Or am I mistaken?
I didn't remember catching that.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, it's Barbara once she gets something in her head, and Batman responds, "Barbara?" The wife, "Look, let's just forget it. That's the last time I try something like that."
Oh.
Yeah, he was trying to convince him to go to a party, and we lost Rich.
You lost me.
Sorry,
We lost Drew.
We lost Drew. Yeah, so he says, "I'm getting to appreciate your particular talents with the odd ones. Are you all right? Didn't inhale any of that horrible fear gas, did you? I'm just fine, just tired. You could use a break. There's a party at Bruce Wayne's costume thing. You could come dressed as you are." Batman gives him a scowl. "It's not that I want to go. It's Barbara once she gets something in her head." Barbara? The wife, "Look, let's just forget it. And that's the last time I'll try something like that." So you can see that, Gordon's trying to, build his relationship with Batman.
Sure. And then that last panel on the lower right there, that's sort of where you're not feeling Bruce Wayne, you're not feeling that look.
It was later on in the book. Yeah, this one, his Bruce Wayne definitely looked off to me in general. The rest of the art, I definitely appreciate it. I definitely enjoyed it. But yeah, it's just certain panels just seemed off to me.
Yeah.
And then there's one Batman where he's just, I'll show you later on where it just looks off.
Okay.
But it's me being a little too critical.
Yeah, but in general, though, those two, Sale and Loeb, they do appear to make a great team.
Oh, totally. Yeah, and yeah, the story as well is just friggin' amazing. So while we wait for Drew, I read that this was supposedly going to be a Legends of the Dark Knight storyline.
Okay.
But they ended up doing a Legends Dark Knight Halloween special, 3 issues.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, totally. What were your favorite parts of this issue?
I really like the Mad Hatter issue, which is the next issue. That was my favorite of the three for sure.
Really?
I love the rhyming. I thought it was interesting because it's not often that we get that Barbara, who becomes Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, not the mother, the daughter in this case, is the niece that he's adopted. Because her sort of origins have sort of jumped over the years from being her daughter to being a cousin to being the niece. It's always been a little weird. DC reboots.
This page right here, this really invoked the Batman the Animated Series. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that is. Oh yeah, that was. I thought it was the bats, and it turned out to be the crows.
Yeah.
Right, because he had never done fear. I'm sorry, the Scarecrow had never used fear gas on anyone but people before, and now he was trying it on animals to get their reactions and to try to control them or induce them to do things, which is interesting. And I don't think I've ever read that in another comic book before that he's ever tried to do anything like that. Have you, or am I mistaken?
No, I haven't seen that before. And it's only, you would think crows would be a good subject because they're so intelligent.
I was not aware that they're super intelligent.
Yeah.
I'll have to catch up on my crow information.
And the scam artist woman that the Black Widow, not the Marvel version,
right,
trying to seduce him.
Absolutely. I don't know how that was really necessary to the story. I guess they were just trying to say that he could never really have a social life. I guess that's all they were trying to hammer home.
Yeah. I really like how it went from, Batman and then going into Bruce Wayne's life when he's trying to have a normal life, and it just switches to black and white. And you just have little splashes of color.
So what did you feel that they were trying to say with that?
Geez, you asking me to give some thought into it. I just liked it.
Your interpretation. What's the first thing that snaps to your mind? Why would you think that his human persona is in black and white versus the rest being color?
Because my first instinct is that it's incomplete without Batman. You're trying to remove Batman from his life, and it's just it's just his life is missing something without it.
So Batman is power, and Bruce Wayne is an empty shell, or an incomplete shell.
I would say an incomplete part of the puzzle.
Yes.
It's you can't have one without the other. Thank you for coming back, Drew. Can you hear us?
My computer died, and then I realized that we're doing this spooky, so it should have some ambience.
Oh, nice. While you're gone, we were talking a little bit about the issue. Can you hear us? Drew,
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Sure.
We were just talking about how in the first issue, when the Black Widow is trying to seduce Bruce Wayne, how the issue goes from color to black and white. And Rich asked what we thought about the meaning of that.
Well, honestly, I think really what it does is, one, Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale are clearly a fan of old film, so film noir, film dialogue and such, which Alfred himself does note. And I think it's just the juxtaposition versus the way Batman and Bruce see the world, and then how the world really is. So it's kind of like how Miss Madison gets in a part of Bruce's world, so she's a part of that. But then you see the rest of the world. So it's almost like this is the world according to Bruce Wayne, and this is the world according to Batman. If that makes sense.
So just more of making a distinction between the two.
Yeah, and it's also an interesting stylistic choice because, again, like they're kind of doing what in film noir you see a lot of, like Frank Miller did that in Sin City, where it's a black and white, but certain things are color. So as in to stand out more, like notice in this sequence, you see Rose is red. But it's
right. Got it. That makes sense.
And I like is that this is again another case where you see how Wayne behaved with Andrea Beaumont in Mask of the Phantasm. You get this idea that Bruce has a chance for happiness and that he wants to believe in it. He wants to believe that Batman is a choice, not a destiny. And then you find out yet again, it's not. And, you know, that in itself, this thing is about fears. So you get the idea that Bruce's fear is being afraid to living up to to his parents, to rid Gotham of the evil that took their lives. Also, I just want to point out that Scarecrow gassed crows are a wonderfully scary weapon and just fucking terrifying, especially fans of the birds will love that. But I think the creepiest thing about the Scarecrow is the nurse thing. I'm sorry, if I met someone dressed like him spouting nursery rhymes or old songs, like, I mean, it's him, and then later on we'll discuss the Mad Hatter. I mean, geez. It kind of reminds me, do you remember that moment in Long Halloween where it's Scarecrow and Hatter, and they're having a conversation, but it's the Mad Hatter talking in I call it talking in Lewis Carrollese. And not only does the Scarecrow understand him, but he actually responds. So it's like crazy, recognize crazy. So, but no, this one, and again, like film, like, you know, I feel like we could literally pick apart like classic films or things, whatnot, from just this one alone. It's great. Like, to me, the maze, this reminded me of the giant maze from The Shining.
Right, and he couldn't get through the...
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, you know, again, I also like is that you have Alfred doing police work. Again, it's not just Bruce. Like, you got to remember that while Bruce Wayne trained his mom, Alfred is still his, at all intents and purposes, both his mother and his father in a surrogate sense. And it's just crazy. But for me, one of the other creepiest moments is, if we flip forward, Leo, the wedding.
Right, he dreams of
the which is, I think, probably one of the more disturbing things we see here. Because just a little bit more. It's the one where you got back just a little bit. Well, yes, this one more, Leo. Just
am I going the wrong way?
Yeah, wedding.
Yeah, there's the wedding.
Look, oh God, how you drawn that is. You know, it's just
let go of the Batman.
The Scarecrow gets the one up on Gordon. It was beautiful. But it's just the thing that I love about how Tim Sale and Jeph Loeb. I like how I'm saying the artist first. It's just interesting. Both of them, everything moves so effortlessly. Like sometimes when you're reading a book, I feel it takes a while. You get caught up. It just takes you a while because you got to digest. Like this is thoughtful, but still very, very provocative. There's a lot going on here, but I feel like anybody could read these stories and completely understand the context, regardless if you've ever read a Batman comic, which I think is great. And I think the reason for that is because Jeph Loeb is known for being very heavy into internal narration through thought boxes, speech bubbles, and whatnot, because it lets the readers know what the characters are thinking.
Yeah, I definitely noticed the torn notes, very similar to Long Halloween.
Yeah, but it works.
Oh, it works really well.
It does. And then what I also enjoyed is that, like at the end, after Scarecrow is stopped, which is a great big confrontation, and this also, I mean, how cool is that? Yet again, one of the many times the bat signal has been repurposed to signal the Batman.
And apparently the jack-o'-lantern remodel of the bat signal was used in 2 of
Arkham
the
Knights.
Batman video games.
Yeah, I believe Arkham Knights was one of them.
Yep.
But yeah, this is great. And then you have the big fight at the clock tower. You got the Batwing and whatnot. That whole final confrontation, and just like I here's the fun thing is like Scarecrow is not a very strong person. He's very frail and whatnot. You got to give credit. This man takes a beating. Like, holy cow. Batman is clearly stronger, bigger, and faster than him, but all these years, he just keeps taking that beating.
Well,
And apparently he could run because he's evaded Batman through this whole comic.
Yeah, true story.
Also, you can feel Batman's frustration, and at the end, he just wants to end it like right here and now, and definitely could feel the punches, and it's very similar to the next storyline when he goes after the Penguin as well.
I think you mean the Mad Hatter.
I thought,
Penguin.
the third one had the Penguin, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Okay, yep.
So the thing that I love about this one is that you had this idea that Bruce didn't realize who Miss Madison was, and Alfred brings up the idea that Batman didn't make the error, but it was actually Bruce Wayne. So you have this idea that they are two separate people, which has been a very much contested point because, again, people like, is Bruce Wayne crazy? Because he sometimes often refers to himself and Batman as two different people, almost to the point where they're literally different, almost personalities, which some people are like, is he as crazy as the people he brings in?
Exactly.
But for me, I felt that this one, if someone adapted this into a short film, I would 100% watch it. And it's short enough. I feel like if you kept pretty accurate to the story, like this ending especially, talk about what a great cliffhanger. Because you got that question. Does this woman know that? Does she know? Does she not just know who she almost married, but that somebody knows her secret? You know what I mean? What do you guys think?
I didn't take it as she knew. I mean, you figure, she was with Bruce for so long that she must have had some hint that he was Batman. I don't know. What do you think, Velvet Joker?
I didn't think she did. I thought she was totally oblivious to the fact.
Well, no, what I mean is that she realizes it then and there.
Oh, because of the symbol, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Or just that she was in Gotham and he was onto her. I don't know.
Maybe,
I guess
but it's
in
just
ways.
such a good ending.
Now, when you said you wanted to see it animated, Drew, just this particular aspect of the story, or all three together?
I think just this particular aspect, I think, could make a really good short story because it's very compact. It's got the multiple storylines. It's beautiful. Like even if their animation style follows a tenth of this, and I think what I like is it's got that. This one, I think, out of all three, really has that film noir angle to it that I think really works with Batman's aesthetic.
Yeah, I could see though it pairing with the second one.
Yeah, I could see that, like a double feature kind of deal. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I could see that. If it was like an anthology kind of movie, 100%. Yeah, but I just think it again in terms of this, in terms of the stories we're reading, that one I think is the most noir. Like this one that we're about to read, Madness, I think is the most sentimental. So let's get to it.
Certainly.
But I will say that there is something in this that was a little confusing to me. And I was trying to figure this out. And I want to, is Jim Gordon her dad or her uncle? Or is she adopted? I'm really confused. I've been always confused.
In this one, Drew, she is the niece. He adopted her.
Okay, she's the niece. Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about that when you had dropped out. I thought that it was particularly interesting because she has such a weird history depending on who's writing it and reboots and of things of that nature.
Okay, thank you for that clarity because that's always bugged me ever since reading it. I was a little confused. And I will admit this, it's been a long time since I've read Alice in Wonderland, but again, I don't feel like you need to be well equipped to whatnot. And just like the Scarecrow, you have this character that's so wrapped in their delusion that they're literally quoting the book, which some people could argue, okay, that's lazy writing. I was like, no, but it works for the character. Like Jervis Tetch is so entombed in his character that he literally believes he's the Mad Hatter.
Not only that, it is when he sees the Queen, his look of fear.
And then he immediately jumps right to, okay, well, what would she do? Off with his head. And then look, he's like he was prepared to literally slice Batman's head off.
If he could.
And I think it's also nice, I gotta be honest with you, I think it's also nice seeing Barbara Gordon as not Batgirl. Like, it's good to remind that there was a time in her life where she wasn't Oracle or the Batgirl,
Right.
Like, I feel like sometimes a lot of stories don't focus on the fact that Jim Gordon was a dad. He wasn't a great dad, but he was a dad.
Well, he did raise a little
story.
Was that Rich?
And I said that very much encircles upon the importance of this story, the empathy of the story.
Yes.
Him being a dad.
But
I was gonna say he raised a little serial killer.
He did, James Gordon Jr.
Yeah.
But the thing that I especially enjoy about this is I think, and I actually might pitch this as an idea, I think that this story makes the Mad Hatter one of kind of Bruce's more personal foes. Because, yeah, he's got his animosity with a certain clown, but I think because of the sentimental connection to his mother, with Alice in Wonderland, and then he said it himself that Jervis perverts one of the few good things that he remembers from his mom. I think that is just like, again, it's a small detail, but it's so crucial. Excuse me, crucial to the story.
Now, Drew, you being the probably more bibliotech of the three of us, of knowing backwards and forths all these storylines, has that ever been mentioned before, that book had some kind of history or connection to his mother, or is this first we're seeing this kind of?
I think it was only in this story, to be quite honest, Rich.
Okay,
and we
doesn't
just
really have a history.
stop right there, Leo.
I stopped.
It's like he's trying to read. I was like, he's trying to read with us, Rich, as we're talking. Like, if you didn't read the book, man, that's your fault. We had 3 days.
I read the book. I read
cool.
I read all 3.
But Rich, this is the first time I really remember reading about this, and I don't really recall it ever being brought up. I mean, we've talked about those goddamn pearls around Martha's neck so much. Like, I'm so tired of watching them fall. I got to be honest with you. I'm so tired of it.
I concur 1000%.
What I also like is this is like, again, and this is the grasp and love that Bruce, that Jeph and Tim have for the character. This one little moment makes the detail even more devastating, that the pearls was Bruce's idea.
Right.
You know, considering what we know, seeing that flashback, you realize it's so much more devastating because it adds to Bruce's fault. You know, his guilt.
Now, was it in the Long Halloween? I'm not sure if it was another one we have more recently read, where it was also Bruce got scared or freaked out and he needed to leave the movie early, and then of course they died. So again, adding more sorrow or guilt.
I think what you're referring to there's 2 things I think you're referring to. The one is in Long Halloween, Bruce gets dosed with the fear gas, freaks out, runs from the cops, ends up like crying in front of his parents' grave, remembering everything. And then there's also Batman Earth 1. You had that Bruce run out of the theater, get stopped by a random mugger, and then the parents catch up.
Right. That was it.
Yeah. So I think that's what you were talking about.
Right. And again, so it seems like the writers just want to bury that guilt issue with him.
Instead of just it being a random coincidence.
Right.
But yeah, this was, and again, the flashback is done in a quick way that you add something new to it, but then you, of course, like, look at that. You don't need to see Martha and Thomas get shot. We already know. You know, those 5 little panels done.
Yeah.
But you do see, you know, which is something you never see, you know, Bruce Wayne with the biggest smile.
Oh yeah.
Right.
His probably his last smile.
Yep. So then we fast forward a little bit. And then we have Barbara Gordon, teen rebel, and probably one of the goofiest like attackers, and I want to say could be possible sexual assaultists, and then just scared away by a simple gunshot. But then again, it is Gotham, so you know. That, I'm sorry, that has always been one of my favorite Mad Hatter Gotham images. I remember seeing it in my Batman guide like ages ago, and it's always stuck with me because it's just like, I feel like it really captures the gentlemanly aspect, but also the sinisternism of the Hatter.
Absolutely.
You know,
his commitment to his madness.
That's couldn't have put it better myself, Rich. And then you also give credit to Tim Sale, like his use of space is just phenomenal. I mean, just look at this page here. You got Batman literally walking a spiral into his own sanity, and it's again, the entire page moves with it. Stylistically, it's great. And then we meet, again, continuing the spooking. It's like, oh my God, what is the ghost of Martha Wayne doing there? But then we meet the other surrogate parent in Bruce's life.
Oh, right.
Leslie Tompkins. But what a horrible, that is the worst tea party I've ever seen. You also got to give credit to Barbara. Like, I just don't like tea. And I'm just like, this is the wrong place to say that.
Have some tea, kid. He don't like it when we don't drink the tea.
Right?
Oh no, she doesn't like the tea.
And then he just spazzes hardcore. He's like, I'll just get some more tea. And I'm like, oh boy. I think the party's over.
Too long.
Yeah, look at him. He just loses it. And then you just trick-or-treaters, some trick-or-not fun treaters, and then the March Hare. You're like, what? But yeah, then this stuff with Leslie, was just great because, and I feel like the animated show really did capture a lot of what is basically here, that in some ways Leslie Tompkins and Alfred were Bruce's surrogate parents after his parents died.
Mm-hmm.
And this is that, and he tries to go back to the story, and he can't because it reminds him too much of his mother. He's still hurting. And then you have, like, it's funny because I feel like the Leslie that I remember from the animated series was a little bit more spunky. This one, to me, felt a little more Aunt May-ish.
Okay.
I can see that, yeah.
But, like this moment here, like he's so stoic, but it's just the content. Like, Leslie Tompkins, thank you, for basically thanking her for everything she did for him. Not just fixing him up now, but just everything.
Right.
And Rich, this is the Batman issue, the image I was talking about. That just seemed a little off. Like his head doesn't really match the body.
Yeah, it's a little small. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I can kind of see what you're saying. It's almost like he started drawing it and then realized the proportions were off, but he was already in, so it was like, all right, I'm just gonna commit.
Yeah.
Like maybe he was hoping the forced negative space in the background might fit it, kind of fill it out a little bit. But whatever. Moving on to the worst party ever.
Sorry, I'm being nitpicky.
No, but the one thing is, what I do love is I love these little mini stories that Jeph Loeb tells in between things. Like this thing about the house and the two brothers. Like I thought that was like, oh my God, I would totally read that comic. Like the same thing with when they were talking about the maze. I was like, oh my God, like it's a little morose, but God, I would totally read that. Especially I love how at the end he's like, they killed the kid and I made sure those bastards went to the electric chair. I'm like, oh shit. Like money won't save you now.
Mendes brothers a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that animated series episode, The Terrible Trio. Remember the bunch of rich guys wearing those masks, robbing for just shits and giggles. And at the end, the guy tries bribing Batman to let him go. And he's like, oh, I'm going to get rich. I'm rich. I got all these things in my pocket. I'll be out next week. And ends up in jail. And I'm like, yep. I will say this, though, in terms of this story, this moment here with the kid who's a Cheshire Cat is, oh my God, I've always loved that. Because I feel like it not only captures the spirit of the book, but also it just fits Batman perfectly. Which the mask doesn't help.
Yeah. And how he signals them, shh.
How do you know I'm crazy? You'd have to be, otherwise you wouldn't be here. and he just doesn't say anything. It's like, shit. That's that Batman face of, shit, I'm being called out.
Yeah, I love that interaction.
Yeah, right. You can Leo, you can keep flipping. It's fine. Just a little slower.
I hit the wrong button as always.
He totally would have killed Barbara if her dad hadn't just literally jumped in to stop it.
I totally got that as well.
Yeah, in this case, Batman couldn't save her. Only Jim could have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he even says it. Batman saying, every scenario I think of winds up in Gordon's daughter hurt and then Gordon crashes through the soul of the day.
Yep. And then what I also love is that you get an idea of why Batman terrifies Jervis so much, because when you flip to the next one, when he's pursuing him, he sees him in the mirror. I think he literally I think that might be either in the moment or it might be an idea. I think he literally thinks Bruce is like the Jabberwocky.
Yeah.
Which I don't. Again, it's been a long time since I read the book. Is the Jabberwocky like some sort of monster in Wonderland? Like a demon or something? I don't remember.
Again, I probably haven't read it longer than you have.
Rich, I know it wasn't in stores when you were a teenager. Okay, I've heard those stories.
I mean, it was, but yeah. No, I don't 100% recall, but I do remember that being a villain of the story.
You got to also enjoy how Bruce did pulled when he basically did the Barbara what he does to his dad every night. And he's just like, yeah, he does that a lot. And again, it's like I said before, I think this one is the more sentimental of the ending because, it's just you finally, the villain's put away, the girl got saved, she's reunited with her family, and then Bruce goes back, but instead of doing something, he actually chooses to not let Hatter win. He's like, you can't take this memory of my mother. Like, only I can, and I choose to do something with it. And he just sits and decides he's going to read Alice in Wonderland, which now I want to do on a rainy day. So,
absolutely,
let you know how that goes.
And I really thought that was beautiful too at the end with him and with Jim Gordon and his niece/daughter, because she was, like you said, a rebel in the beginning, and he kept warning her Gotham's like now the other cities, and sure enough, she goes out, gets in trouble. And she now sees the wisdom of his ways and that she's hopefully going to be a good girl, at least for the moment.
Yep. Don't go to Gotham. Don't go trick-or-treating in Gotham, kids. You might get kidnapped by a psychotic, somewhat supervillain.
I have to admit, I've never read Alice in Wonderland. But when I was really young, I was taken to a rendition of it.
The Disney version?
Actually, no, it was weird. It was
have you read Leo? I hate to tell you, it's a weird
no, weird because I remember it was Liberace was there. It was like a musical.
Dear God,
I have vague memories of it. I remember the Cheshire Cat. I remember Liberace. I remember we had to drive a long way, and my aunt's car didn't have AC. I was really young at the time. I had to be.
Did you get high from the fumes?
I might have. Yeah, I might have. Yeah,
because that sounds like a fever dream, which is actually pretty appropriate for Alice in Wonderland because Lewis Carroll, I'm pretty sure, is writing it on some sort of influence because it's out there.
Yeah,
it is the ether, But this isn't about, drugs are bad, kids. So the last story, Ghosts.
Yes, and we talked a little bit about this.
Yeah, we did.
Which is then more or less encompassing the classic three ghosts visiting on Christmas, but in this case, it's three ghosts visiting on Halloween.
Which I'm pretty sure I know a couple of people who would be fine with the three ghosts of Halloween past, present, and future versus the three ghosts of Christmas. Because some Halloween enthusiasts are mighty against the other holiday, but yet love Nightmare Before Christmas. So I was like, well, you got to have something that everybody loves. I got to be honest with you. I always find it amusing the way Tim Sale draws the penguin.
Yes.
Because he commits to it, and it always, I don't know if it weirds me out or fascinates me, because whenever I'm reading it, I always just feel like I have to say the wah out loud. Just I don't know why. It just, for some reason, it just fits.
Nod to the 66?
Maybe some Burgess Meredith in there, but like, I just feel like they really capture the snob, the snob knobbery of this wannabe nouveau riche criminal. Like, he really does think he's so freaking sophisticated. You know, I just think it's so funny, especially the whole thing. And he's riding on a jetpack. So then he's like, well, this penguin actually can fly. And I'm like, I can't. If it was like, this penguin has a pepper.
And doesn't on the in the beginning of the party, he's complaining about Bruce Wayne's food?
Yeah.
Yeah. Liverwurst chicken, and liverwurst. How disappointing.
And even Alfred calls that out too later on, if I'm correct. He's like, were they showing that disgusting liverwurst platter everyone's getting into these days? I was like, oh my God. Sassy Alfred. Gotta love him.
Maybe Jeph Loeb just doesn't like liverwurst.
Apparently. But you know, the thing that's nice about this is that it was a little quick and direct, but I'm sorry. I feel like the Penguin, if you wasted a whole issue taking down the Penguin, I mean, you got to give him some good motivation, some good plan. Because, yeah, he's very much we're going to give him about 4 pages and then he's caught. You know, yet again, just hanging by a batarang, by a bat rope. Just such an idiot. Like, look at
penguin
that.
Flies.
Yep.
I love those
trick or treat
shark teeth he's got.
What was that, Rich?
I love the little shark teeth they give him, the penguin.
Yeah, but you're right. I also do like this one. I gotta be honest with you. As much as I still think that this is the so-so story, all of the penguins, all of the pumpkins in this issue, I just such good. Again, attention to detail, but so good. Yep. See, they're just wah. So good.
Do it again.
All right, one more time. One more time for all of you listening. Wah, wah. Or if you want to do like version of wah, 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 wah.
I'm the penguin. Wah.
Yeah. Stop the Batman. Wah, wah, wah,
More
wah.
gangster on that one.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and so yeah, you find out he had shrimp instead of the liverwurst.
So what I'm hearing is that the way to take out Batman is to get him food poisoning. Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah, that's about it.
And the first ghost is, of course, his father.
Yep.
Who is warning him of the chains of his life that he has put on himself.
Mm-hmm. By not focusing on what really mattered, which was the key, family. But instead he focused more on the doctor. And he says, and it's funny because when I was reading this, I was thinking about my favorite version of the Christmas Carol. And while there are many really good live action, it's hands down Muppets. Like, all due
really
respect.
not Scrooged.
You know what? No, I've always loved the Muppets Christmas Carol, hands down. Don't get me wrong, Scrooge I did enjoy, because it combines Bill Murray and Richard Donner. Can't complain there. But no, it's the Muppet Christmas Carol. I watch it every year. Well, especially because you made the hecklers Jacob and Robert Marley. I mean, how much better can that be?
You're just bringing off all this Muppet stuff today. I'm gonna have to explore some Muppet stuff this week.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm very animated. I can't help it, Rich.
You got to get your Henson.
What's that line from the Christmas Carol? This is the part of the night where we make a speech. Well, this is the part of the night where we take a nap.
Awesome.
I just, the whole thing, I enjoy the story that Batman keeps trying to rationalize that this is all a dream, that he's under Ivy's spell, that he's, been gassed or,
Right. Lip poisoned.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I don't know which one. I thought the past was so much more devastating. Like, again, we don't really see Bruce as a kid, but again, the little details. Of course, he would be dressed as Zorro, considering the movie he sees, that fateful.
Yeah. I didn't link the two.
What happened?
I didn't link that.
Yeah, and then I just love that idea that Bruce, just like Scrooge would do to himself, he's trying to talk to his younger self, and I was like, he can't hear you, but he's like, that how they met, because you always wonder how the hell does he meet Lucius Fox, and I think this one made the most sense, the origin of Lucius Fox, meeting him early in his training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he that's also where he picks up the medallion.
Yeah, that's where we first noticed. Well, the second time we noticed the medallion.
Yeah,
we understand why. And that's kind of similar. I mean, it's not, but it's a little similar to the outfit Bruce wears when he first does his first crime fighting in Mask of the Phantasm, and kind of similar to one of his first outings as Batman in Begins.
Well, also, what is it? Year One, right?
Yeah,
when he dresses up as the homeless man, has the
scar and everything, the vet.
Yep.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, and he talks about how he was young and impetuous.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be like that now. But he would.
This whole, like, the scene we're about to see is still one of my favorites in this book, just because, again, the background detail is fantastic.
Yeah, I love this shot too.
Like, look at that.
Evil jack-o'-lanterns all around, just placed perfectly.
Yep, and then you got Alfred tied up with a above the fire with an apple in his mouth. Like I'm sorry, I just imagine Rich has made that his like screensaver for Halloween.
I am now.
I mean, I feel like that. I'm not gonna lie to you, Rich. That would be like the best cover photo for your Facebook. Halloween.
I want to do that whole shot. I want to recreate that right now.
Hell yeah! Right? Look at that. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but you look at the Joker's face and you can see Rich in there. It's just.
I think the moment I see that most Rich is the little wayward, because again, Leo, you've probably been like me. You've heard Rich cackle and howl at a con, but to me, because we've done the show so much, like I was like, no, that's Rich at the show. That little, that's Rich in real life.
That's
just that little extra, period.
Yeah, you're gonna recreate that shot for Halloween.
I'd like to. That's a pretty hot ass shot.
Yeah.
Right?
I never saw it until I read this book, and I was just looking at it for like 10 minutes. I kept like, I think I finished the story, and then I went back to it. I was like, wow, that is an evil shot.
Right?
I love
It's just beautiful.
And the Alfred with the apple in his mouth is just super classic.
Yep.
It feels very holiday.
He tries to take a swing at him. He's like, "You're really having trouble with this whole thing. Like, I'm a ghost."
And now I'm even wondering, has there been another version of that, like a Christmas version where the Joker's on the throne?
No, are you thinking of in Long Halloween when he's on Christmas when he threatens Falcone and then he does the airplane?
And again, that's Loeb and Sale again. They're recreating.
Well,
they're doing the same tropes again and again.
Yeah, exactly. Because in that one, he was the Joker. It was the Joker robbing a family of all their Christmas presents and quoting the Grinch, and then beating up Harvey Dent in his home on Christmas, still quoting the Grinch, saying, "If your holiday, I'm going to come for you, Harvey." And
right. I think they recreated that in the animated too as well.
Mm-hmm. And then you gotta love this idea that Bruce is literally so scary because he's so heavily invested in Batman that he scares children, And it's funny because that reminded me of, I don't know if you guys ever read The New Frontier by Darwin Cook, like the actual book. There's a moment where Batman ends up saving some children from a cult, and his appearance scares the kid. And later on in the book, you find out like his ears are shorter and he's a little less gruesome looking. And someone asked, like, "Why'd you change?" He said, I'm supposed to scare criminals, not kids. And it was interesting seeing that kind of referenced here again. That Bruce has become the haunted house of his neighborhood. So I will admit it was an interesting touch for the Ghost of Christmas. Okay, Halloween, whatever, the Ghost of Future. Also,
one more ghost to go, Bat Boob.
Like, it's funny because you can, like, I don't know if you guys, but there are certain moments in this I heard Hamill talking, especially like, "One more ghost to go, Bat Boob." I don't know. That's just me.
You do that way too well.
Rich has yelled at me over it.
No. Please, you can't give me enough Hamill. Hamill is like my god.
No, I don't know if Rich was the one who I know somebody. I don't want to say gave me shit, but like gave me it's taken people years to do what you learn to do in a summer, and I was like, I'm sorry. I feel like it was Rich, but it was a Joker I know, but I don't know if it was Rich because there's some Jokers I know that I no longer respect, and I actually still respect Rich. So it could have been him in a backhanded compliment kind of way. He is capable of those, Leo.
Oh, I know. I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't think of his name. He's long hair. He's a New York Comic-Con guy. I don't know. Yeah. I'll hit you up later. It's not important.
Yeah. But that's another story. But yeah, the fact that the ghost reveals himself to be Batman, I was like, wow, that's an interesting twist.
That's not the first time we've seen a skull with the bat cowl.
No, I just don't remember where. But I know I've seen that too.
Yeah. Yes, it's definitely a really eerie image.
Yeah, unless I'm the one doing it to him, it's just not happening.
And then I just enjoy like the end is basically the end of the Christmas Carol. He's got that revived spirit, and the ghosts, they did it in one night. It was all one night. It's still Halloween, and it's just like, I'm done.
Right, it's gonna make everything right. Makes the deal with Lucius, brings the candy to the kids.
He's gonna buy the biggest turkey.
Puts on a shirt. The man does it the whole goddamn time.
You sir, what day is it today?
It's good, sir. It's Halloween. Halloween.
Oh, I haven't missed it.
Buy all the candy in the store.
Milky Ways for everyone.
Not the fun size either.
But the full bars. Yes, the full bars, boy. And here, at the end, God bless us. Diabetes, everyone.
Alfred, run to Whole Foods, quick.
Here's a shilling for you.
Oh my God, stop.
So, it's fun. It's very fun.
Yeah.
It's silly and fun.
It is. Like I just said, I'm sorry. It's just compared to the other two, this one is, I don't want to say it's a weak ending, but it's a little less. But I think it's because they're essentially adapting the Christmas Carol. That's what kind of holds it back.
Right.
But again, entertaining, great. I mean, honestly, I got to admit, perfect for this season.
Absolutely. And, a lot of times when they do in comics, a holiday themed, it falls flat and it's forced. And this one's not that at all.
Rich, I do agree with you. And I will say that in the 90s, they did some really great holiday specials, which come Christmas time, we're going to have a field day reviewing, because there's one anthology that I can't wait for y'all to talk about, because, there's some good moments.
Great. Can't wait.
Well, we definitely need to find another spooky book to cover for next week.
I gave you 3.
You did.
I did. I gave you this one. I gave you Ashes to Ashes, which was
Hellboy,
the Army of Darkness.
Loki.
And then I also gave Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
Okay.
Well, let's do Freddy versus.
What?
Let's do the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. I vote for that one.
Listen, gladly. I've been writing about it for Screen Rant, and they approached me and they were like, "Oh, we have this idea for 2 articles in there. Do you want to do them?" I'm like, yes. Can I, to quote Fred, hell yes. Like, yes, please. Let's do it. Let's Rich, to quote you, let's get Jack Nicholson nuts. Let's get nuts.
Say hello to my writing stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I give this for sure 4 crowbars. 4 solid.
I'll agree to that. It's not perfect, but it's still really good.
Yeah. I'm glad you chose it.
And you know what? I'm going to follow suit for crowbars as well. I would have gave it a little higher, but yeah, definitely. For some reason, the art was off a little for me, and it wasn't too much, but it was, just still thoroughly enjoyable.
Well, I think what it is, it's also, you have to remember, it was still early. This was the first collaboration. These are one of the first words. This is among one of the first collaborations that we really saw Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale do. Like they did this, and in the foreword for the book, if you read that, Archie Goodwin, R.I.P., is talking about them working on The Long Halloween. So these sold so well that you had that, which is awesome, because we all know how big The Long Halloween became. And on I will say this on a side note, you guys really should read Dark Victory. It's not on the same level as Long Halloween, but it's still a really good read. Yes, especially if you're a Robin fan.
Definitely on my list to read.
But and then at some point I would love for us to cover some of the Marvel Color series, which was more Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale. So that was Hulk Gray, Daredevil Yellow, Spider-Man Blue, Captain America White. They're all great.
Sounds good.
Drew, was there any, because we've been leaning heavy toward DC, was there any truly classic, like Marvel, whether that was Blade or something that did like a great Halloween series?
I mean, Blade, like, Marvel wasn't afraid of doing horror because, like you said, Blade is one character, Man Thing, Ghost Rider. They have that villain Jack-o'-lantern, big old pumpkin head flaming. No, they're not afraid of doing that, but I don't really remember a Halloween special. Although I do remember Marvel Zombies technically did do a Halloween special, which was cute, creepy, odd ending, but cute. I mean, you can't beat a little kid dressing up in costume, trying to go trick-or-treating during a zombie apocalypse. I mean, it's adorable in a twisted kind of way.
There's a Avengers Halloween Special Volume 1.
There you go.
It says it's the first appearance of Matt Murdock.
Who?
Matt Murdock.
Oh,
first appearance of Kingpin.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll dig it out.
Okay.
This can't be right because it says it's also the first appearance of Doctor Doom. This can't be right.
That can't be right.
No. It's like everything's first appearance. Nah, that can't be right.
I declare erroneous. Erroneous on all regards. But
you can't believe everything you read, kids, on the internet.
You can't. But you can believe everything we're talking about. 4 crowbars for this book. Definitely read. It's a nice little Halloween thing. So make yourself cider or cocoa, or even if you want pumpkin spice. And put on a spooky playlist.
There we go. And I got a link to the book, the graphic novel, and the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. I want to thank everybody for watching or listening. And Drew, where do you like people interacting with you?
Okay, hold on a second.
One
second. I got this. So me, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram, Ghostbuster Man 1984, Jamal on Facebook. I'm also I'm a writer for Screen Rant, so you can look me up, find articles I'm working on. I'm working on a bunch of projects here, working with Chris on his spectacular Spider-Man Salvashima podcast and on his project. And whatever I'm doing, I'm tired. So if you reach out, it might take me a bit, but I'll get back to you.
Sounds good. Velvet Jugger.
All right. Well, you can find me on Facebook as Rich Davis, Instagram, Velvet Joker 2021, and you can find me here every Tuesday night on the Splash Pages.
Cool beans. And for me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. But more importantly, follow these awesome people. I got all the information in the show notes. I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. Just about 40 shows on the network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. And with that, we will catch you guys later. Bye.
See you next week.